What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome. I'm CJ. We're building out my 2008 Street Glide, putting some rad parts on it, and I'm excited about that. Now, almost everything is finally in to put on the bike except for a few things. And one of those things is the sprocket kit that's not in. And the reason is USPS ended up losing my package. That's not fun because then I have to wait even longer to get it. I had to file a missing package report. I had to reach out to Geezer Engineering so that way I can possibly get another one and put it on the bike. Until I get that, I can't even put the inner primary on. Now, while I'm waiting on that though, I am going to powder coat the inner primary, switch out the bearings so that way it's a fresh bearing, and do some work to the clutch hub. But today, what we're doing, so that way it don't hold us up anymore, we're gonna be putting Geezer Engineering 19-inch enforcer wheel with 14-inch brake rotors. That's right, 14. Because when I opened that box, I was like, holy crap. I didn't know the front wheel was coming with 14-inch brake rotors, so that was a shock to me. But before I even put the wheel on the bike and show you all of that, we're gonna weigh both wheels and see if I'm losing any weight with the front wheel swapped out, or am I gaining some weight. I'm not really touching the tire. Before we even get this on the bike, got to install the bearings. They've been sitting in the freezer for a while now, so I'm going to heat up the hub and they should almost drop straight in. Now, because I'm not going ABS anymore, I did not have to get an ABS bearing, so it doesn't matter what side the bearings go on. Now, after I get them installed, I'm going to reweigh it and see if it added any weight. So it added a little bit of weight. I can already tell. I like this 3-piece design. So you just take out all those bolts and both sides of the hub will come off. So that way, if you need to press it out or press the bearings in, it makes it a whole lot easier, because if I needed to press these bearings in and not just hammer them, I could take it over to my press and it fit in there. Now, trying to fit the entire wheel and rim in my press, it won't fit. Now, he provides one bearing because he doesn't know if it's going to be on an ABS bike or non-ABS bike. You will need the right spacer as well as the right bearing. But since I'm converting over to non-ABS, I don't have to go with the ABS bearing, and I don't have to use a ABS spacer. So if I was still running the ABS, I would need this spacer, and your ABS unit would go right in there and it would fit right over the wheel. Now, since I'm eliminating that, I have two different style of cones, and they are marked actually on the back side so that way you know what side they need to go on. Makes it very, very simple for the install. So we're gonna get this spaced up. And it's almost impossible to mess it up, especially if you have the Geezer Engineering lower forks. Let me show you real quick. And what I mean is it's got a hidden axle right there. Real clean looking. That's why I say you can hardly mess it up, because the cone that goes on the right side is not for that hidden axle nut. So it just slides right over. might still have to adjust just a little bit. Oh yeah. That is an absolute game changer, guys. Putting the 19 instead of 16 and with 14-inch brake rotors just looks amazing, and I'm still not done with the front end. There is still one more thing, well, actually two more things that's got to be done to that front end to finish it up for the look anyways. But since I got 14-inch brake rotors, I cannot mount the stock brakes in the same location. So there is a relocation kit if you want 14-inch brake rotors, so that way you can run your stock brakes, not have to go aftermarket or looking for something. So we got to put the relocation kit on, so that way I can still run my stock brakes. So here's the brackets, comes with all the hardware. Now again, because I'm going non-ABS, I am switching over my line, so that way it's not on the left side, it's on the right, and a straight route down from the reservoir to the brake lines. So the brackets can only go on one way. They're going to mount right behind your forks. Using the hardware provided, put a washer and some blue Loctite. I highly recommend the blue Loctite because you're really not going to need to remove the brackets once they're installed. You'll just need to remove your brakes from the bracket. Get everything kind of lined up. And it just sits right into position. Get everything mounted before I actually tighten everything up on one side. Just like that. The mounting bracket is now on, pushing the brakes out further. Just like that. Alright guys, let's get these brakes bled. So if you have an air compressor, this tool comes in handy. Just hook it up to your air compressor to bleed your brakes. That way you don't wear out your hand, because one of those hand pumps, it takes a while, especially on an ABS. Now, with removing the ABS on this system, it shouldn't take as long since I'm not having to run the fluid all the way back and then up to the brakes, so it's just a direct line. But still, this tool really comes in handy. I'm still using .4 for the brake system, so it's going to be real interesting and have to get used to the stopping power with these 14-inch brake rotors. And let me tell you, I mean, they look amazing, but let's get this done. It is that simple, guys, and took me no time at all. Where a hand pump, I'd still be doing it. I have used a hand pump on the Sportster before I had that tool, and my hand was cramping by the end of it. I don't even want to try to do it on an ABS system. But there you have it. The 19-inch wheel from Giza Engineering and the 14-inch brake rotors are installed in the bike, and it looks absolutely amazing. Now I have plenty of stopping power. I just got to get used to it since I don't have ABS on this bike anymore. Now, I've ridden plenty of bikes without ABS. My Sportster, my dad's FXR, the Springer. So it's not like I had to get used to riding a bike without ABS. Where it comes into play is having the 14-inch brake rotors and a lot more stopping power. But as you saw, installing the wheel and everything is very, very simple. I like that it's a 3-piece design, so that way it makes it easy to install the bearings, so you can take the wheels apart if you need to. Real amazing design. And he sends all the spacers that you'll need for either a non-ABS or an ABS bike. So if you're interested in picking one of these up, because they do look amazing, plenty of stopping power, I highly recommend going over and checking out Giza Engineering. But now that we have that installed, it is one more step closer to putting this bike back together. But I hope you guys have a good one. Stay tuned, because there's still more to come with this bike build. Later, guys.